Dear African entrepreneur, today's question is, should you leave your 9 to 5 to pursue your entrepreneurial dreams? Should you leave your full-time job to pursue your passion? But that's not really the question that you should ask. It's not about if you should, but if you are actually able to, or if it is the best thing for your business. My answer? My answer? It depends on several factors, and these differ from person to person. Here are 4 questions that you can ask yourself to actually help you to assess if you should start your own business or if you should continue in your corporate life. So, number 1, can you actually afford to go full time? The reason why people say that young people should jump into entrepreneurship is because when they're younger, they don't have responsibility. They don't have the weight and the burden that older people who have families and a lot of responsibility have. So the question for you is, are you able to make the time? Are there aspects of your life that will suffer if you decide to be an entrepreneur? Entrepreneurship is all-consuming. You work crazy hours, you spend all your money, you put in so much of your time, brain power, just to grow the business. And so, if you are married, if you have a partner, male, female, if you have responsibilities that will not give you that flexibility to actually focus on your business full time, then it's not for you. Because the moment you decide you want to be an entrepreneur, you are dead to the world. Your focus has to be on growing that business and making that investment worth it. And so, a lot of things in your life will suffer. You have family members who depend on you. You have people who are expecting from you. A business can take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years until it is actually stable. So are you willing to be without a steady income, a steady paycheck, unpredictability, all that pressure for 5 years? If you or your family or your setup in terms of relationships, in terms of family cannot withstand that, then it's not for you. Number 2, do you have enough savings? Yes, earlier we talked about time, resources, but one of the key things is savings. Savings because you often need to go without a paycheck when you start your business. It's not going to pay you the same as your 9 to 5. You need to give the business the opportunity to actually grow. And to give the business the chance to grow, it means you don't eat your seed. The seed, which is your initial investment, cannot be spent on paying you. So if you are a startup founder or you're a business owner or someone who just began their entrepreneurial dreams, you should be willing to forgo a salary. And it can take 5 months, it can take 6 months, it can take a year, 2 years. Are you willing to forgo your salary for that long? So the best advice that's often given is make sure you have enough savings. Make sure you have enough personal runway. Make sure that you have a nest egg or something that you can fall back on. So that when the business is actually growing and in those early stages when it needs all your resources, all your money, every bit of money that you have to be thrown into it, you're not now thinking about the salary that you're foregoing. Some people are lucky, they have family that's able to support, they're able to raise money easily, but that's not the case for most people. So, dear African entrepreneur, do you have enough savings for you to pursue your dreams? That is a valid question. Number 3, proof of the business. Is your business in the idea stage? Is it in the early stages where you have no customers? Or are you actually generating revenue? Are people paying for your product or your service? Is there a proof of concept? I ask this because if you are going to jump from a stable, predictable income into an entrepreneurial venture, you should at least know what you're getting into. There should be clear proof that the business idea is one that will get customers, that can grow. Because if it's not, then what's the point? So what people often do is they begin the idea whilst working a full-time job. It's a side hustle. They grow it once there's clear evidence, once there's clear proof of concept, once there's clear evidence that people actually are willing to pay for what you're offering, then they decide to quit their main job. Because if people love the idea, if your friends and family tell you it's an amazing idea, but people haven't actually paid for it yet, yes, you guessed it. It could all be a lie. Culturally, we're often unable to tell people what we really think. So yes, there might be some petty purchases initially. Yes, people might encourage you because they don't want to seem like they're downers. But the reality is, until someone actually takes money, goes through the process and buys your product, you don't have an actual business. Especially to my startup founders, the ones who are in the tech world. Yes, you've built a product, it seems amazing. Until people start paying for it, there's no proof of concept. And at the same time, just because they're paying for it doesn't mean that it's going to be an overnight success. They might pay for it initially, and later down the line, they don't find it valuable or they don't come back to pay for it. So that's where you need to understand things like the actual business model. Is it a recurring business model where people come for it each and every time, or it's a one-off? So unless the business is at a stage where it can actually pay you a livable wage, then there might not be a need to go full-time. There are lots of entrepreneurs who have their business that they are running, but they also do some consulting on the side, or they have something that is giving them a main source of income, which is why there's the term side hustle. Side hustle doesn't mean that something that is less. It means you are doing the two until one, that is your dream business, the hustle, is able to grow. Side hustle or side gig sometimes can mean the way that you start your business so that you have your main job and you maintain your passion or your small business on the side until your business can take care of you. The final question that you should ask yourself is the business going to be better off if you leave to join it? What do I mean? Should you join the business, is your coming on board going to accelerate growth? If you leave your job to actually join the business, are you going to be able to do better in the sales division? Are you going to be able to generate more revenue? Are you going to be able to make sure that that business can grow in an exponential manner such that it is worth your time and the opportunity cost of working a regular job to be at the business? I'll give you an example. If you have a boba shop, a matcha shop, you're making lovely milk teas and matcha. Are you not better off hiring a team, 2 or 3 people, paying them, say, $500 a month, and they are able to actually run the business for you, rather than you leave your job that's paying you $1,000, $1,500 a month to be in the business? The reason being, they can probably do a better job than you. They can probably do certain aspects of the job better than you can. So you need to decide for yourself whether you need to be full-time in your entrepreneurial business or if you can do it on the side. I know a young man who was working a very corporate job. You know, he had to wear a suit and tie, very, very professional. And he left that to begin his juice business. Now, when he left to begin the juice business was already at an advanced stage. It was actually generating money, he had clients, and his reason was he would be able to grow the business faster if he was focused full-time. But that meant he was foregoing his salary. It meant he was going to work harder. He was going to work full-time on this, and there was nothing that was going to occupy him for the next 6 months to a year. And that's exactly what he did. Coming on board meant that he was able to put structure in place. He was able to speak to the customers himself. He was able to correct issues that have been going on. He was able to move the business from, say, a level 10 to a level 90. For him, that was worth the time, that was worth the money, that was worth the investment. And because he did that, that business now has lots of locations, it has lots of branches, and is able to pay him what he lost out. But remember, he had to forego his salary for a period of time. He had to be willing to let the business grow. And ultimately, he needed to understand that by him coming on board full time, it wasn't a cushy, I'm the boss job. It was that I'm getting into the weeds, I'm doing everything that needs to be done, and I'm grinding, I'm pushing for a certain period of time to let the business grow to where I expect it to. So how did you do with the questions? Out of the 4, did you get more than 3 that were positive or less than? It's not really about a scoring or about a point system. It's more of a personal assessment for you and your family, and just for you to understand what it implies. So what I say to people is this: if you have a nest egg, if you have family support, if you have a partner who is willing to actually take on that load, they will work a full-time job whilst you begin a venture. Thank them, love them, appreciate them, and give the business your best shot. Go as hard as you can, because that's a sacrifice. If you don't have that, then you should make sure that you save enough such that by joining the business or by starting the business and going full time, you do not sacrifice whether it is your quality of life, whether it is your healthcare, whether it is just your ability to even be present for your family and friends. Entrepreneurship is tough. Starting a business is not easy. Running a business is hard, and you need to be mentally ready. You need to be willing to do the hard work. And that involves planning, putting structures in place, and ensuring that you're going to give it your best shot. What are your personal experiences? Share in the comments. Has this been the case for you? Have you found success in going full time as an entrepreneur, or you found that it's easier and better for you in your stage in life to continue your day job and run your business on the side? There's no way that is better. Yes, some businesses require you to be full time, but make sure that when you decide to go full time, you are actually able to. There are so many successful businesses where the entrepreneur is not full time. Don't believe the hype. Do what works for you, your business, and your specific circumstances. My experience with my natural hair salon business is that I always had a full time job. I had a full time job, and for the first 5 years, I didn't take any money out of the business. So my salary was basically to fund the salon, support any shortfall, do any capital expenditure, buy any big items. If there were shortages, I would be the one who would lend the business money. So that's the role that I played. But it also meant that I hired people, put them in place, gave them the training, and helped them such that I was able to play the role of vision bearer, supervisor, overall manager, and I didn't need to be in the business. I didn't need to be present for the day to day. But that was my specific situation. It might not be the same for you, especially if your business is the service kind that requires you to actually render the service. Examine for yourself what the nature of your business is. Can you hire others to do it, or must you be the one who's in the business full time? Sometimes it's better to have a team in place such that everyone has a specific role that they're assigned to. So there's clear accountability, there's clear visibility, and you can hold people responsible. When you are the main person in the business, when you, the entrepreneur, are in the business full time, most of the time you end up trying to do everything. And that means there are lots of things that fall through the cracks. You might have the perfect vision, but you might struggle to execute excellently. So make sure that if you are joining the business, then you are able to make sure you have the right people in place to do the aspects of the business that you cannot do. What is your personal experience? How have you managed your business? Share so we can all learn from you.